Good morning, everybody. I wanted to make a video today about gratitude and what gratitude means to me. See, when everybody has their own testimony, their own story. Let me put my seatbelt on right quick. All right. So, gratitude. What comes to my mind and heart when I say gratitude is my walk and what I've learned throughout the years of gratitude in terms of, as a youth, how I used to take things for granted, and now as an adult, when I'm older, how the little things I'm grateful for. And so let me go into it and express myself. So when I was a youth, I used to look at perhaps having a father and a mother before they got a divorce. I used to look at that as it was normal, and there was no gratitude involved. It was just like, this is life kind of thing. And so it's easy to fall into the hole of this is life when you are born into a good situation. When you're born with food in your refrigerator, when you're born with toys and everything waiting for you kind of thing, with smiles, hugs, and embraces, it's easy to bypass the gratitude and go straight into entitlement. And so for me, I walked into a life that I had a loving family for the most part, and you know, a lot of the things that other people don't have, I did have. So I was lower middle class, meaning we could afford food and a couple of toys, but nothing extravagant. And so, yeah, my lights were cut off growing up. There was times where we couldn't pay the bills and my water was shut off. And this wasn't just on one-time occasion. This was frequent throughout my. So what that did for me as a youth is that it let me in on a concept that I wouldn't have normally known about had I not gone through the experience. And the experience there taught me that money mattered. Now, I didn't fully comprehend the money mattered, but I was introduced that if you don't have money, things get shut down. And so, thankfully, I never skipped any meals and stuff like that, although I do recognize that other people that may be watching have gone through a life where they didn't have enough to eat. And I sympathize with that lifestyle because now, being older, I understand. But as growing up as a youth, there was no gratitude for a lot of the things that my mom provided for, and I just simply took it for granted. I just thought that it was owed to me. It was I'm alive, I'm here, I'm present, and so people served me. And that was my mentality, that it's not so much that I was obnoxious in my attitude demanding that people served me, but that was my mentality and my inner heart. It was the internal belief system that said, you know what, because I'm here, people are going to offer me food or drink or something to drink, because that was my norm. And so as I grew up and I started to deviate from the life that my mom created for us, because later on my dad was abusive. My dad beat on my mom, and he was an alcoholic, and he was may he rest in peace. I'm not trying to bash him. I'm not trying to put him down. You know, I'm just saying that these segments in my life marked me. And they marked me because it showed me the sinister side of life. When you're born and when you're a child, everything is innocent. The Bible says, to the pure, all things are pure. And I was pure when I was a child, just like every child is pure when they're a child, until they're exposed to the dark side. It wasn't until Adam and Eve ate the fruit that they were exposed to the dark side. But up to that point, they were pure and they were innocent. And they were naked and they weren't even ashamed. And so, growing up, I would say that I was fortunate to have such a loving mother, and one that took care of me and cared for me, and she was a very good mother, still is. But one of the things that we tend to do as children, not knowing any better, is we think that, first of all, everything is set in concrete, that nothing can expire, nothing goes away, right? We just think that this is the way it's going to be forever. And that type of mentality is what doesn't allow gratitude to show its face, show its, itself in our life. Gratitude, gratitude, it shows itself when you understand that everything has an expiration date. So you are grateful for your grandparents because you understand that they're getting older. And then from that place, you hug them more, kiss them more, talk to them more, and spend more time with them, knowing that that day is approaching. And we understand that any day, at any given moment, it could be our last day. So it doesn't mean that you have to grow old in order to expire, but it just means that it's most definitely going to happen, because nobody escapes death. So we understand that old people are more vulnerable to that. And so gratitude for their life and for their role in your life shows up just by acknowledging that this may not be the case in a month or two, right? They may not be there anymore. And so that's the first nugget, is understanding that nothing is concrete. Nothing is set in stone. Your house, money, status, title, everything, reputation, it's all on the line to be destroyed, because nothing is set in stone, so much so that it can't be taken away from you. Job is a perfect example of that. In the book of Job, all of his belongings, everything perished overnight. Everything perished overnight, including his children. And so his response was, naked I came into the world, and naked I go out. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. And that's it. That was his mentality. And he basically, was so fixated on God being the author and the finisher of his faith. He was so fixated on the fact that God mattered more than materialism. God mattered more than anything and everything in this earth, that although it shook him, it didn't rock him, right? It shook him. It was hard, it was tough, it was difficult, uncomfortable, all those things, but it didn't break him, because his faith wasn't founded on this temporary expirable things. The Bible says, do not store up treasure on earth where thieves can steal it and moths will destroy it. Rather store up treasure in heaven where it's going to last forever, and it's no thief is going to steal it. It's going to be there waiting for you with your name on it. And so it's not going to expire in heaven, right? So God is giving us a blueprint. He's letting us know, like, this earth, there's a way to be grateful for what you have. There's a season for everything under the sun. And the season will, when you go through a hard season, you're more grateful for the good season that you're living in the next time, because of the hardship that you went through last season. And as you grow more and more, you start to recognize what I'm saying is true. You start to realize that, life is really hard. When you're a child and when you're a teenager, you have no cares in the world, because you haven't really understood it or understood your role in this whole life. As you grow and you have responsibilities and you have a role to play in this whole thing, and you start to really see that life is not that. Life is what you make it. I really believe that. God is there for you, but life is what you make it. I really believe that. And so we have a tremendous role to play in what our life looks like, right? And following God's laws, following God's rules and everything like that is a good blueprint for you to reach a successful life. Okay, with all that said, let me charge my phone. I'm running out of battery. So, gratitude. When I was growing up, I didn't have everything, but I had a lot to be grateful for, yet I wasn't having the